If you feel stuck in your life and if you're ready to change, but you don't know where to start, this is the video to watch. I'm going to give you 3 steps on what to do next exactly and how to take full control of your life. The first step is to take full responsibility and commit yourself to something meaningful. Most people drift through life aimlessly. They don't have a goal, they don't have meaning, they don't see any point in living. They chase pleasure, they chase excitement, they chase being with other people and talking about internet trends, but they don't actually have a purpose that drives them. For many people, their work is their purpose, and that's perfectly fine. But for most people, their work is just a means to getting enough money to get by. It's just a means to knowing how to spend their time, because without work, they'd be completely bored and probably get addicted to drugs. So if you see your work as just a means to make an income, if you see your leisure time as just a means to wind down from that work that you hate, then you have to take full responsibility and you have to stop blaming the world for your problems. You have to stop blaming the outside, the external world, society, your parents, whatever. You have to stop blaming them for the situation that you're in. You want to change your life. You want to break out of your job. You want to break out of a situation that you don't like. But you're not taking responsibility. If you blame something on the outside, then you're actually giving the power to that person, to that situation. Whoever you blame, you also give the power to. So if you actually blame yourself, if you put the responsibility back on yourself, you also get back the power to change it. So if you're stuck in a job that you hate, you have to find something that's actually meaningful to you, that you actually want to do, and that actually solves a problem in the world. While you're still in your job, use the time you have to find what you want to do. And you don't find it by searching, you find it by taking action on things that interest you, taking action on things that excite you. This is the key. You have to follow your interests, you have to follow your excitement, and you have to allow yourself to just do what you like. Most people don't even know what that means, because they've been taught their whole life, they've been trained to do exactly the things that they hate. Be forced to go to school you hate, be forced to go to work you hate, be forced to be interested in things you hate because society told you have to be interested in those things. Whatever. You are trained to do what you hate, and that's absolute bullshit. You should never live like that. If you hate your job, quit as soon as possible. If there is, if you have a lot of responsibility, if you have kids, if you have other things, of course, you can't just quit your job. You have to slowly build something else up. But if you don't have kids, if you don't have any responsibilities, and you have some savings, then just quit your job. Just quit your job, travel somewhere, move out of your hometown for at least a few months and figure things out there. For most people, that will be enough to actually find what they want to do instead of their job. But if you can't do that, or if you don't want to do that, you can still make progress. But the point is, you have to stop assuming that problems in your life and the circumstances in your life are not your responsibility. You have to get away from this idea that someone's coming to save you, or that someone else is responsible for the bullshit that's going on in your life. You're the only person that's going to change anything about your life. So you have to commit yourself to this process. You have to take responsibility and find something that you actually want to do. Find something that inspires you, that is meaningful to you. And you do that by taking action on your interests, on the things that excite you. The second step is to get out of your comfort zone and to face your fears. For me, this was huge. This was the biggest change I ever made in my life. It was when I quit my job and I traveled to Asia. And it wasn't that I quit my job that was the big thing. It was that I forced myself into social encounters, into social situations, because I was terrified. I had huge amount of social anxiety, and I was terrified of talking to strangers. So I used that Asia trip to force myself into my biggest fear. After doing that for a few weeks, that fear was almost completely gone. And it's not just that, but I like experienced the most amazing adventures, the most amazing experience were made in that time where I faced my biggest fear. So think about your own life. You've probably already done the inner work. You've already done the personal development for a while. But think about that one fear you still have, that one fear that you never really faced. The truth is that that fear, even if it feels like it has nothing to do with your current situation, but that fear is the exact reason you feel stuck. It's the exact reason why you're still not getting closer to your goals. Trust me, I also thought like social anxiety, I never thought that that would have to do anything with like being free, being my own person, actually believing in myself and, doing whatever I want and not what society tells me. But in the end, it was like the biggest change, because through facing your fear, you actually get to know yourself. You understand something deep about yourself and you get closer to who you actually are. So it's not that you actually need that thing, like you don't actually need to overcome that fear to practically move closer to your goal, but you need it to become more of yourself. Because when you're more of yourself and when you're more naturally yourself, when you trust yourself more, when you accept yourself more, then everything you do in life becomes 10 times easier. And when you have that fear and when you like avoid that thing and you don't face that fear, that's you telling yourself you don't trust yourself. And that's you not accepting yourself fully. So facing that fear signals to yourself, I trust myself, I can overcome this, and I can do whatever I want to. That's really the outcome of that, is the belief that you can do whatever you want to, no matter if your fear tells you otherwise. You just do what you feel is right. And this is what you will learn from facing your biggest fear. And the third and last step is to kill your old self and to create a new identity. What most people don't realize is that identity is like the most important aspect of changing yourself. If you want to improve the quality of your life, if you want to change anything about your life, the most important thing is to change how you see yourself, because that dictates everything else. What opportunities you attract, how much money you have, the quality of your relationships, everything you have or not have, and everything you do or can't do. It's all dictated by how you see yourself, by your identity. So if you are stuck and if you feel like you're not living up to your full potential, then that is part of your identity. Then you're seeing yourself as the person that's stuck, as the person that's lost and confused. Whatever you're experiencing right now is a symptom, is an outcome of the way you see yourself, of the way you define yourself to be. If you think that you are, limited, if you think that you are lacking in some certain areas of life, then that's exactly what applies. Like for me, I always thought, there was a reason to be terrified of other people. There was a reason to be like scared of talking to strangers. And I saw myself as this awkward, insecure guy. That self-image was the reason for all of my problems. So like think about yourself. How do you see yourself? Like how do you view yourself? Who do you think you are? What does your identity look like? And like just assess that and be completely honest with yourself, especially about the flaws that you see in yourself, especially about the negative aspects. And it's not about like acting like you don't have weaknesses. It's not about acting like you're perfect, but it's about realizing that a lot of things that you tell yourself about yourself are like not inherently true, but they are true only because you're telling yourself. Our beliefs have a huge impact on what we experience. So if you're currently in a situation that is undesirable for you, then you have beliefs that create that situation. You have a self-image that reaffirms, that confirms that undesirable situation. So in order to kill that old identity, you have to first form a new one. So first imagine the life that you actually want to live, like your vision. Where do you want to be in like 5 years or 10 years? And there is this person that you are in this future. And like, who is that person? How do they behave? Like, how do they speak? How do they carry themselves? What kind of relationships do they have? What actions do they take? Really vividly imagine that character, that future version of you, and all the character traits that they have, all the things that they do, the relationships that they have, where they live, how much money they have, all these things. Like, think about this as detailed as you can, and even write this down, as detailed and as specific as you can. And this is the identity that you want to adopt. This is like the person that you want to imitate. And you literally do that. So then you focus on your lifestyle. What do you have to do to match that lifestyle of that person, of that future version of you? What do you have to change about your current lifestyle? Of course, if this person makes millions of dollars and has businesses and all of that, and things that you don't have, then you can't just match their lifestyle. But to the highest degree possible that you can right now, how can you match your behavior? How can you match your thinking, how you speak, how you carry yourself, the clothes you wear, everything that's going on in your life? How can you match that to that person that you want to become? Even how you respond to situation, how you respond to people, because you build identity not through like imagining yourself to be that person, but through acting like that person. So you behave in a similar manner. You build your lifestyle as that person would. And in that way, you slowly start to match them. You slowly start attracting the opportunities, attracting the life that this person has, because you become that person. And this is the key. So if you feel held back, if you feel stuck, then you have a lot of beliefs about yourself. You see yourself as the person that struggles with a lot of things. And you have to stop believing that. You have to stop seeing yourself as that person. And that happens through changing your lifestyle and matching it with that future version of yourself. These are the steps. Follow them religiously. And in 6 months, you'll be a completely different person. And if you want to learn more about changing your identity, shifting into a new self, I actually created a blueprint to shift into that new personality, into that new character. And it's in the description. It's completely free. Check it out if you want to shift your identity. And other than that, subscribe to my newsletter, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video, all of that. I'll see you next time.